Hi Aquarius, welcome to your September 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. In regards to personal readings, I'm actually going to be taking a bit of a break from those, probably at least for the next month. But if I do decide to change my mind, I'll make an update in the community section of the channel. As far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic Oracle spread as always, and I also pulled a couple of Oracle cards and a Mudra card for you guys. So we'll get started with the main spread. Main situation position, we have Justice. So this is the major arcana card for Libra. Now this could be pointing to a few different things. Of course, this can be regarding a relationship. Maybe you're trying to get balance restored in a relationship. That's a possibility. But for you guys, Libra represents your 9th house as well. So some of you might be considering possibly moving or possibly going back to school. These are some things that might be weighing on your minds right now. But overall, this looks like a definite energy of wanting the best outcome for all parties involved. And also, timing-wise, this could just be saying that whatever balance you're looking for, it may not come until later in the month of September, because that's when we actually will be in Libra season. But Mercury will actually be in Libra pretty early on in the month, too. So you might start to get the wheels rolling early in the month regarding getting that balance back on track. In the challenger obstacle position, you have the King of Swords, which is actually the court card for Aquarius. And then we have the King of Pentacles, which is the court card for Taurus. So this comes out a few different ways for me too. Where I was saying, for some of you possibly thinking about going back to school, given that ninth house can represent higher education sometimes. That could be what you're weighing as far as, the cost benefit option there, right? Like maybe you have a job right now that might be paying decently, but you're considering, well, do I want to just get that next level of education, right? Maybe with all the financial uncertainty going on in the world, it made you realize, okay, I really need to make sure I have as many options as possible in these types of situations. For others of you, this can represent another person that you're dealing with as well. And, maybe it's an earth sign, possibly a Taurus, but any earth sign. And maybe you guys are kind of both set in your ways because these are two fixed energies here. So maybe that's the challenge too, getting the balance. You guys might have your own way of doing things, your own routines, and that can be causing the difficulty for the two of you coming into alignment at times. And for some of you, this can be one of those things too, where you're trying to find that balance between staying true to yourselves, but also being able to make money, right? So, for example, you might have a career that you could make a lot of money in, but you might not really like it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this will pay the bills and it might do so very well, but I don't really get fulfillment from it, right? So you could just be trying to find a balance where you could have a merger of those two things, something that you actually feel like you're staying true to yourself, doing something you love, but also getting a decent amount of income for doing so. All right, in the foundation position, we have the Knight of Cups. So this is actually Pisces energy here. So this could just be saying we're going to have a full moon in Pisces pretty early on in September. So it could just be saying maybe around the first week of that month, you might get a creative idea that actually gives you a way forward. Because especially for you guys, Pisces being your second house of finances, possessions, self-worth, could just be saying that, okay, maybe that idea comes to you and you actually start to get some forward movement. You might still be a little guarded and a little bit hesitant about it because, after all, he still is wearing all that armor, right? So I feel like it could just be one of those things where you might get that idea, okay, I feel comfortable moving forward with this, but, still a little bit guarded around doing so. And of course, like I was saying, if this is a relationship dynamic too, maybe around the time of that Pisces full moon, you or the other person might actually try to extend an olive branch around that time. All right, and past position, we have the Sun, and we have Seven of Swords, which is actually more Aquarius energy. So given that we do have Justice in the main situation, this could definitely be related to that situation, meaning that, maybe some deception came to light. Now, people tend to think worst case scenario with this card, and don't get me wrong, there's not many positive interpretations of the card, but let's just say if this is around a romantic relationship, right? Maybe this, let's say each of those swords represent you and the other person in the relationship. Maybe you had that feeling like, okay, I know this is safe and secure. So maybe all of these other swords represent your finances, right? Like, okay, I know I could come back to this relationship. It's always going to be there for me. I'm going to put all of my energy into my work, right? So that could have been a situation that took place. For others of you, might have even been some self-sabotage that came into play, though, around a relationship. Maybe because you didn't feel confident in your financial standing. You might have felt like, okay, I don't really want to be in the serious connection. A few different ways it could be playing out, but yeah, it's definitely at least possible that there was some deception between you and another person that came to light, possibly even during that Aquarius full moon. And maybe that's where that justice is coming into play, where now there's actually going to have to be an effort from whoever was on the wrongdoing side there to actually fix the situation. All right, in the present situation, we have a lot of cards. We have the Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, which is Aries energy, Six of Cups, which is Scorpio energy, and Queen of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy. So if this is around finances, which I did pick up on for some of you, this could just be saying that, there might be some communication around an offer. The reason I say communication is because for you guys, Aries represents your third house of communication. Mars is going to be in there for pretty much the rest of the year, right through the first week of January next year. With that Six of Cups, it represents a rebalancing of sorts. So with the Queen of Pentacles as well, we see that progression there. So I feel like this could just be saying that if there was some kind of financial wrongdoing in the situation, and possibly might have even gone the legal route, since we do see the Justice card there, could just be saying that you guys might at least get some positive news around that. Like, for example, even if the official verdict doesn't come in, if it is like a court case, this would at least be some information coming to light that they'll say to you, hey, this is what's going on, right? And then you guys might work out a deal that works best for both parties. And then that's where we could see that Queen of Pentacles energy coming in. Now, if this is around another person, like we did see that King of Pentacles energy under the King of Swords there. So like I was saying, if that represents your energy, King of Swords, and then another person is the King of Pentacles, could just represent them softening their energy a little bit, coming down from that King down to the Queen position, so a little bit more flexible in their ways, a little bit more open, a little bit more receptive. But this could just be saying that it might require you to take that step as well. So kind of like what I was saying there, two kings, right? Those are fixed energies. So it could just be if you and another person is set in your ways, you might butt heads a lot. And this could just be saying that maybe even you come to that realization that, hey, you know what, if I'm a little bit more open with them, maybe that'll actually be the best way forward, right? And then you guys could actually work more on some compromise. So that's another way it could be playing out as well. In the near future position, we have the Hermit, which is actually Virgo energy, and we have the Ten of Cups, which is Pisces energy again. So like I was saying, with that Pisces energy being related to your finances, for some of you, this could definitely be around finances. And if that's the case, I feel like this is saying you're really just reflecting and trying to figure out what's the best way forward to actually have that financial growth. But also, I feel like have that emotional connection, what you're doing. Like I said, you guys are pretty smart usually. So maybe there's tons of things you can do that would make you a lot of money, but you might dread going to do it every day, right? So you're might just be trying to look for that path, like, okay, well, what can I do that has that balance where I make a decent living, but I also enjoy what I'm doing, right? So you could still really be looking at what the best pathway forward for that would be with the Virgo energy here. And then with that Ten of Cups, represents really just finally figuring out what's best for you, what would make you happy. It's really going for, at the very least, if you're not going to go for it right now, it's at least knowing in your heart, like, okay, this is what would make me happy. So that's what I see you're reflecting on now. And then, of course, if this is around another person, this could be you coming to that realization. Like I said, if you guys did have a separation, And maybe that's what's causing you to go the justice route. If there was some falling out in the past, where maybe if you left this person behind, now you might actually be reevaluating it and saying, you know what, I do want to reconnect with this person. So it's how those energies could be playing out. In the position of your influence on the situation, we have the Page of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. So, interesting energy here. Now we have 3 of the aces out. Only one missing is the Ace of Wands, which is interesting because the wand energy usually represents taking action. So a lot of this could mean that these are mostly still ideas in your mind. You know, you really just might be trying to do a big overhaul in your lives in general. Maybe with Saturn going back into your 12th house for, you know, its final little stay there, could really have you reevaluating, okay, where maybe have I been holding myself back, right? Let me get that all aligned before moving forward. So seeing the Ace of Pentacles in the present and then seeing the actual Page of Pentacles here, I usually say to people, the difference to me with these two cards is the Ace, we see that hand coming out of the cloud. So to me, that's usually something that's in the idea stage. It's not something tangibly playing out necessarily, but it's at least in your thought process. And then the Page is the actual, now we see an actual person in the picture, right? So it actually represents taking action toward that thing. So could just be saying that around finances, you might decide what's best for you, right? Have a conversation with someone. And then here we see that Libra energy again, just like we see with the Justice card. So really going into negotiations to try to find a situation that will work best for all parties involved, where everyone ends up happy, right? For others of you, this can just be saying that, you know, it could just be because there might have been some kind of a block with your finances. It could have been holding up other areas of your life. And it could just be saying, if that's the case, you know, once you get that under control and move forward there, you'll see these other things start to come into motion for you as well. So that's what I see there. Hopefully that resonated. In the environment position, we have the 8 of Pentacles. So this is actually Virgo energy. I'm recording this pretty much in the middle of August, so we haven't officially arrived in these degrees of Virgo yet, but for those of you who are watching this in September, this could point to that timing at the very end of August, basically, right into the first couple of days of September. So this could just be saying, you know, you might have really been focused on work, possibly even considering working for yourselves. So that could be what it is too, where you might have a day job, right? But you also have a passion of yours that you do on the side. And maybe that's what you've been trying to figure out the balance of too, right? Like, okay, I have this 9 to 5, that's great. But how do I squeeze in the time to do this other job on the side that I really love, right? So this could just be saying that you've been putting a lot of energy into that lately. And maybe it's starting to grow for you as well. And that could be where difficulty's coming in, right? In the beginning, it might have been one of those things where you might not have had a lot of demand for your services because you were just starting out. Maybe now that's starting to grow and you're like, whoa, okay. All right, it was easy to do the 9 to 5 in the beginning and still do these businesses. Like, let's just say as a random example, you were a tarot reader, right? And you worked the regular job as well. In the beginning, you might have gotten couple of reading requests a week. Okay, you could easily fit that into your schedule. Maybe now you're getting 10, 20, you know, so the number keeps increasing. You're like, whoa, how am I going to keep up both of these? So that could be what's going on for some of you as well. And if this represents another person, it could just represent that they're actually willing to put in the work as well. So if there is some kind of situation that you guys need to get back into alignment on, it could just be saying that they will put in the work, or it could just be saying that they are very focused on work. So if you're wondering why something hasn't come together, it doesn't look like there's necessarily someone else in the picture. It looks like they're just really focusing on their work. So it could be either of those two. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Lovers. So this is the major arcana card for Gemini. Of course, some of you might be dealing with a Gemini, but I'm not necessarily picking up on it in that way. I feel like this is more just saying that this is what you're hoping for, right? That balance type of connection. Well, we said balance again with the Libra energy there too, but you know, I feel like this is just saying a balance where you have the connection, but I feel like you still have your space and your freedom too. That's what I'm really seeing with this card in particular. So maybe that's been the problem for you in the past, where you feel like maybe other people are demanding too much of you in your connections. So you're like, okay, I want that connection where both people are just really comfortable in their own skin, right? If I need to go do my own thing, if I have to focus more of my energy in another area of life, I don't have to worry about this person taking it personally, things along those lines. That could be what's on your mind too. And if that's the case, it looks like you might have found a good match for you in that regard, because like I said, the environment energy here, whoever this is, whether it's you or the other person, looks like they're heavily focused on work. So maybe that's part of the realization you're coming to as well. Like, oh, okay, this is actually someone who's kind of on my level in that regard, because I know that if I have to take care of other things, they're good to be on their own and do their own thing as well without it becoming a big issue, right? So that could be what's at play there. And at the bottom of the deck, too, we have Temperance, which is actually the Sagittarius side of that energy. But again, we have that same theme with balance. So a lot of balance energy coming up here. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Four of Cups and the Nine of Swords. So interesting energy here. Seems to have taken a turn a little bit, but well, I will say this is Cancer energy here, and then this is Gemini energy. So for some of you, this can be around work. Like I was saying, maybe you just have this job that maybe they're trying to make an effort for you, right? If you're just not emotionally attached to it. So maybe, again, you have the success, the financial success, but it just really doesn't do anything for you on the soul level. And maybe there's been some talks about, okay, maybe we could do this, maybe we could do that, right? And you just might not be finding that right balance there, as far as you're like, okay, this isn't really doing it. So maybe you're just a little bit stuck in your head about it. For others of you, this can be around creativity as well. Maybe you're just hitting into a bit of a stumbling block, as far as, like I said, for those of you where maybe if you have your side business and it's starting to grow, you could just be really stuck in your head about, okay, well, how am I going to balance these two? But for most of you, I feel like that'll be short-lived, just because these major arcana cards that we see here seem to definitely have the more positive tones to them. So I feel like this might be more of a thing that's just more in your mind that you might really focus on and get stuck in your head about. But I feel like it might just be saying, especially with those, we see the angel symbolism there, it could just be asking you to have a little bit more faith in the situation and let things smooth out for you. For example, transits through Virgo for you guys, that's your 8th house. So those could be a bit heavier energies anyway. And you might put a little pressure on yourselves around that time. But if that's the case, keep in mind, like I said, Mercury is going to be in Libra, which is a supportive aspect for you guys as an air sign. And then obviously toward the end of the month, the sun will also be in Libra. So could just be saying that, all right, if you're feeling like that heavy, stuck energy as we move through Virgo season, once we get toward the end of September, you should feel a little bit more comfortable. All right, so hopefully that resonated. Moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we have Loyal Heart. There's the artwork, and the number is 35. Okay, it says fidelity, loyalty, devotion. The Oracle's message. Evidence of loyalty will appear in your life. Others will prove they are faithful to you, and you will in turn commit fully to them. There is a sure and abiding certainty in your heart. Know that Spirit is always loyal to you. No matter the outer circumstances in your life, trust and have faith, for you are eternally loved, always divinely protected, and divinely directed. Yeah, so that's a pretty good message there, because that makes me think of what I was saying, where, you guys just might really be racking your brains like, okay, how can I move forward with this? And like I was saying with the angel symbolism in those two cards we see, it could just be saying to have a little faith, and then this card pretty much pointed that out as well. And, quite frankly, you guys have all those things going on in Capricorn, which is your 12th house, and then Mars is squaring all those things too. So that could also be what's adding to you, being really stuck in your head about things, wanting to move forward on things, but maybe feeling like you can't. So if that's the case, those energies, you should start to feel them alleviate a little bit as the year progresses. All right, the relationship message says your partnerships, friendships, and romantic relationships all have many qualities in common right now. Honest devotion, faithfulness, and a loyal heart are being shown to you. Are you as loyal in return? Now is the time for heartfelt commitments and trusting in divine protection. So interesting message there, because it reminds me of what I was saying with that Eight of Pentacles, where, like I was saying, you might feel like, oh, okay, this is actually someone who, if I do need my own space, right, I need to do my own thing, they're perfectly capable to focus on their own thing too and not take it personally, right? So maybe that's the realization you're coming to with the Hermit and the Ten of Cups, like, wow, okay, actually this is someone that I could really go to distance with. And maybe even if you weren't the most faithful to them in the past, like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to mean cheating, but maybe you're just always making the assumption, oh yeah, the relationship's always there, not really putting any effort into it and doing all other kinds of things. It could just be saying that now you're realizing, okay, this is actually a good match for me. The prosperity message says your long-term loyalty to your goals is becoming evident in a world of conditions where your aspirations for success assume form and reality. Success is finally taking shape. If you are loyal to your dreams, faithful to your plans while remaining flexible, and devoted to serving others, you will be shown proof of your true prosperity. This is a time for a joyful celebration of spirit, your manifesting partner. So interesting message there as well. And with that Page of Pentacles there, that could be what it's saying too. Like maybe this is something that you felt was out of your reach, but like we said, with the energies we see there, it could just be saying that there might be some negotiations as far as finances go to compensate you for what you've been doing up to this point. So hopefully that resonated as well. And the next card we have is Starfish Spirit. Open to infinite possibilities. There's the artwork, and the number is 59. I think Taurus might have gotten the same card as well, and we did see the Taurus card there. So if you guys either have a Taurus placement in your chart, or if you're dealing with the Taurus, you might want to check their reading too. Pretty sure it was Taurus. It was one of the earth signs. I'm 90% sure it was Taurus. Okay, it says, stretched out on the beach, the starfish opens fully to the rays of the sun, to the power of potential. As you look out toward the horizon, do you open up to infinite possibility? Spirit is the source of opportunities beyond your wildest imagination and ensures endless possibilities are available. At this time, Starfish Spirit urges you to stretch past the limitations of your everyday perception and comfort zone to dream of bigger things and imagine even greater hope and faith. And imagine with even greater hope and faith, for miraculous potential is shining down on you. Feel it, bask in it, and open yourself to be filled with inspiration. This is a very fortunate sign that Starfish Spirit has come to remind you of your infinite potential. So yeah, definitely another positive message there too. And like I said, even if it was just one of those things where you're going through a stretch where you're just caught in your head, really trying to rack your brain on, okay, how can I combine, having the tangible, practical things taking place with that whole King of Pentacles energy while also staying true to myself. So could just be saying, just have a little faith and things should pan out the way that you were hoping for. So I hope that resonated too. And then finally we have a Mudra card. There it is there. It's the Pralamba Mudra. And the keyword for it is benevolence. All right, there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot. But under benefits, it says opens the heart, calms the spirit, awakens feelings of devotion and compassion, benefits the cardiovascular system by lowering blood pressure, reduces anxiety, weakens ego grasping. So if you think that would be something that would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of the Mudra in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.